Whoa! This guy just came into the Extreme Collection, both figuratively and literally. Even though I have video game statues like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, The Witcher, I never expected to buy a classic video game statue like Sonic. Looks like he's about to run away again. Let's do the review quick. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 25th Anniversary Edition from F4F Figures. This is actually my second piece I've ever purchased from them. First I have at my office is this Sif Wolf piece from a game that I've actually never played. And I did jump on a few wait lists for their Mario because I also want to get their Bowser exclusive. I love the review that JW Statues did, you can check that out. And though this is an older piece, I want to put him right next to my main video arcade. On one side I have Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, the other I will put other pieces like Sonic and Mario. Now Sonic holds a special place in my heart because I remember when I was a kid, everybody was getting the brand new Sega Genesis. And for Christmas, my parents would typically get us one big gift. And the gift I got that year was not a Sega Genesis for $120, but it was an automated racetrack that cost $60. Now, upon opening it up on Christmas morning, it was actually broken. So my parents said we could take it back. And thankfully, I'd been saving up my money for a long time, and I had saved $60 for myself. So I asked my mother, hey, could I use this money and the return money on the racetrack and purchase a Sega Genesis? And bless my mother's heart, she covered the tax. So I brought home a video game system that just I owned and my older brother could not play. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. And we didn't get any additional games or accessories, so I had one controller and one game, and I wore that controller out and I wore Sonic out. So a lot of special memories because believe it or not, that was 29 years ago. Now since then, they've done a number of adaptations from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is pretty much where I lost track, to Sonic and Tails, and even last night with my children, I watched for the first time the live action movie with Sonic and Jim Carrey and Cyclops. And actually, it was pretty damn amusing. I highly recommend it if you have children or if you just want a good laugh. And honestly, I hope they make a sequel to it. But I stumbled across this guy while I was looking for that Bowser piece that I saw on JW Statues review. And I didn't even know he existed. So I checked out a few online reviews and I saw some awesome features. I saw that the fire beneath his feet actually lights up. I saw that this sign actually spins. So I went on eBay and I was able to nab him for about $350, which is less than retail. Retail was $385. And as I unpacked him, there was a pretty big surprise, which we'll talk about during design. But before we dive in, we're actually doing some giveaways. First one is make sure you comment on this video sometime during the video. It enters you into a monthly drawing. We actually just did it a few days ago. Every month we send out gift packs to 2 people in random videos. Also, we're really close to our next statue giveaway. Check it out. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification and stay tuned for that giveaway. But let's start this review with concept. And concept is key when you're creating a video game character, and I think the reason I purchased this statue is because of the amazing concept. I love what they did here. First, on the bottom of the base here, it has very reminiscent parts to the Sonic world, especially from Sonic 1. A lot of those colors from the mountains that he would climb up or the dirt hills. Granted, I haven't played Sonic probably in about 25 or 30 years. I guarantee it's actually on my main machine because there's like 5,000 games on there. And on top of that is the classic greenery grass, and it looks awesome. We'll talk about paint and sculpt later, but you have a couple of things going on top of that. You have a couple things going on top of that grass. First, you have Sonic with flames coming from underneath him, which I don't remember as part of the game. I remember you would kind of see some blur animation. You'd see him turn into a ball. But this is really cool because whenever you think of someone running fast, you think of flames coming up from their feet. You have the classic sign with his arch enemy in the back that actually spins. I remember that as an integral part of the game. Then you have Sonic giving the peace sign, kind of being a smart aleck. Very, very cool. And the sculpt and paint on this, like I said, we're not jumping into that yet, but I'm pretty impressed by it. So I think they captured everything that you would want. And they actually have a number of other Sonic statues that are about to be released. I didn't like any of them compared to this one. I thought this was the best one. So I love the concept. I love the size. I don't know what scale this is. I would venture to say it's a little bit bigger than 1/4 scale, but I don't know for sure because I don't know how big Sonic is in real life. But the statue is fantastic. I think the concept's a 5 out of 5 when you're trying to capture Sonic. It is such a cool piece that ties you back to your childhood if you're an 80s child like me, even though this came out in the 90s. I'm very impressed with it. Now let's talk about the design. So first, let's look at the unboxing of this piece. Standard shipper box. It wasn't too big, which is always a pro, especially when you need to store all your boxes. And then here is the top of the styrofoam. Check this out. You can actually see they have Sonic etched into this. This is different. I've never seen this before. And then it is one layer inside the styrofoam. It is simply 3 pieces. So guys, normally I don't even highlight an art box, but this is pretty cool, and I apologize for the reflection on it. But on the front, you have essentially a picture of the statue with Sonic 25th Anniversary Edition, and then another picture on the left. And then on the back, it talks all about Sonic. Pretty cool. 1991, Sega's mascot. Then he had, you know, an army of people like Tails and Amy and Knuckles to stop Dr. Eggman Robotnik. Very, very cool bio on the back. And then some more shots of it. This is a beautifully done art box. I'm actually very impressed by it. Now this is the surprise that I had. I'm looking on the back for the knobs that turn the sign and make the flame go through his feet, the light up feature. They're missing. And that is when I found out that there is an exclusive and a regular version. This is why you should do research before you do impulse buys, because when I saw that on the video review I was looking at when I was doing research on him, that is what instantly attracted me to purchase it. So of course I was incredibly disappointed that the regular version, this one right here that they made 500 of, does not have the light up feature and the sign does not spin like the exclusive version, which they made 200 of. Both retailed at the same price, so it's a bummer that I did not get the exclusive. However, maybe as a justification to make myself feel better, as you guys know, I never use the light up features other than when I'm at this table. So really I'm not missing out on that much, but it would have been really cool to have. Let's get the dimensions on him. So his widest point with the grass is about 15¼ inches, maybe a little bit more. The tallest point is it's actually probably the sign back here at about 12½. Sonic about the same. And then the depth on him is about 8½, 9. It's kind of hard to tell because the grass blades are sticking out in different directions. But one other thing, the exclusive has switchable nameplates that don't say the 25th Anniversary Edition. So I guess my only criticism would be, if you're gonna make an exclusive that is the same retail price, why not make them all exclusives? Otherwise, I think the pose is perfect. I like the size a lot. I think it's not too big. It commands a lot of attention, but doesn't take up too much space. I guess if I had to knock it for one thing, I would say that if they incorporated a ring somehow. Rings are an integral part of the game, and they were of the movie as well. So there should have been some way to incorporate a ring, whether it was a ring sitting down here or a couple ones or maybe one in his hand. So that could have taken the statue to perfect, I'm going to say. Mine does have a few paint scuffs here and then on the base that you will see when we do the close-ups for paint and sculpt. But it happened in the packaging. This was sealed brand new, so that it is what it is. I'm not one of those dicks that goes back to the seller asking for money every time a statue's not perfect. So we'll give the design a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I think missing the ring and not making them all exclusive could have given it a 5 out of 5. But I am really shocked how much I'm liking this statue because I'm not a huge fan of that Sif Wolf I have. Now let's look at the paint and sculpt, and again, I think they did really good. From the base to Sonic himself, some really cool stuff going on. So this dirt or rock mound on the bottom, I love the checkered pattern, very reminiscent of the game. There's some good texture on it all throughout, and I like the fact that it almost looks like calculated chaos. And I like the fact like it's a yellow color, you wouldn't think, but I think the reds and the browns they put on top of the yellow color made it look really good. It's very cool. I'm very impressed, actually. Equally with the grass, I like how it's striped grass, light green, dark green, light green, dark green. And the blades in them are a lot bigger than your traditional grass, but that really accentuates the statue and Sonic's world. It's kind of going in different places. The paint on top is a little bit of a mess. You can tell that it was probably spray painted on there. But it's not really anything that I'm going to lose sleep about. And I like the fact that the lines between the light and the dark are kind of blurred together. Let's look at the sign really quick. I like how it's digitized. Here's the picture of Sonic. It's digitized. You know, the graphics back then weren't the best. We were playing on these old CRT tube TVs, which some of you may not know were TVs that were 30 inches deep. And same with Dr. Robotnik. And I don't ever remember beating Sonic. I might have, but I don't ever remember facing him in the end game. I think in Sonic 2 he might have appeared in some other levels. One of you Sonic experts out there can educate me and the other people in the comments below. Now let's look at Sonic. So first, his fire trail that he's creating with his feet. So you can't even see his feet because they're somewhere in here. I'm curious if the exclusive are more of a transparent resin for the light up feature. I think that would have helped this a little bit. Nowadays you think of fire a little bit more orange in color, where this is more yellows and reds, but this is more of a video game cartoon, so I don't mind it at all. I like the flow of it. This circular 8 pattern looks pretty cool. And then really quick, let's look at the only clothes that Sonic wears, the top of his boots and his gloves. These classic kind of mime, which you always wonder what his real hands and feet look like. And I think we actually saw his feet in the movie because he burned through his shoes and his socks. But it looks good. Very cartoonish, very comical. The paint's pretty clean other than some of the blemishes that occurred from the shipping. And the same thing can be said about Sonic's body here. Look at the blue. Very clean on the paint. I like that. I think the one thing that they missed is he is a hedgehog, so you don't see as many spines or spikes. But again, I don't mind it. I think this is decently accurate to the video game. And then the huge whites of his eyes with the pupils look great. It's kind of this reflective surface that's a little bit different white color, off-white, than his gloves. And then you see the tan colorings in there, his arms, his belly, around his mouth, and then his ears. A little bit of messy paint in his ears, but otherwise the rest look pretty good. I think an interesting thing about this with the paint is because it comes from a digitized video game that didn't have the best graphics, there's a lot of areas I'm a little bit more forgiving in, but I think realistically the paint's just very good. It's nothing amazing. It's 3 out of 5 right in the middle. However, I think they did a much better job with the sculpt, not only on the texture on the bottom, the blades on the grass, Sonic himself. I think, like I said, he could have used some more quills coming out of the back, but the over-accentuated ones here aren't bad either, so I think that is a 4 out of 5 on the sculpt of the whole piece. They did a very, very nice job. It's rail. Now, normally we don't talk about value on older pieces, and I'm not going to now, but I would say it's pretty good that you can still get him near retail. That kind of shocks me. I'm betting the exclusive is quite a bit more now, though. Actually, mine was under retail. But overall, where does this statue rank? I think this is a great Sonic statue. It doesn't have the X factor. It's not a 5 out of 5 statue. And I don't even think it's a rail, a statue you really want. But I'm still going to give it a score of 4 out of 5. I like this a lot. I'm very excited for it. Definitely want the Mario and the Bowser exclusive only to go with it. I want those brand new. Hey guys, I know this was something really different. I really enjoyed it. I like this piece a lot. It exceeded my expectations. Let me know what you think of it. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that Mr. X logo. Otherwise, you can check out some of these other statue reviews. Otherwise, I will talk to you tomorrow because we launch stuff every single day. Take care.